The job is complete. I really want to thank all of you for being here. Indeed, it is after all Saturday. And there are many, many, many things that you have chosen to do. And the fact that you have chosen to be here is a good thing.
When I first met, we were opponents. We were opponents. But as over the years, over the 20-something years, we became extremely close and supportive friends, and everybody knows that. There was once a little occasion in Barbados, there was a commission inquiry. If anybody remember, Matthew came and sat with me almost every day and gave some good advice about it out there. Right? I would never forget that. I will focus my assessment in 4 specific areas. He was always on the quest for knowledge. He had great care for children. He saw discipline at the core of everything. And finally, he was a man that exuded immense strength. I was fortunate enough to see him manifest these traits in diverse areas.
I was happy to get on board because I knew that was something that Mr. Farley had desired.
He was an excellent manager. He was totally in control. Matthew Farley. He paid attention to detail. He knew everything that went on at the school. He looked closely at every single aspect of the school, and he sought to make the necessary adjustments and improvements in every area.
The Matthew Farley Memorial Foundation, Charity 1662, which was established on 18th August 2022, is a non-profit organization dedicated for the purposes of the advancement of education, including the education of the public generally, the improvement of knowledge and its public dissemination, the provision of scholarships, bursaries, prizes, and other awards, the provision of financial assistance to students to assist with their educational needs, the promotion and publication of research with a view of increasing the common stock of knowledge. A scholarship will be given to that same student annually until he or she finishes school. So as a foundation, we are going to see that student right through his or her education at the Graydon Sealy Secondary School. However, the student must maintain at least 75% or above average in at least 5 subjects in order to continue receiving scholarship. We're not supporting mediocrity. That was not Mr. Farley. So we are supporting.
Too much of a preamble, I would encourage you to spend the $60 and purchase the book. But my favorite chapter is called A Few Regrets. I do feel that there's a void in education, and I do wonder what conversations, Mr. Ellis, sorry, I do wonder what conversations would be had if Mr. Farley would be alive today. So here goes. For just over 4 decades, I was privileged to be part of conceptualization, delivery, evaluation, and management of education in Barbados. I remain eternally thankful and indebted to the government of Barbados and the public service for affording me the opportunity to be part of what is still a good educational system. But despite all of the above, as I begin to experience retirement and learn its nuances and principles, there are some regrets as I reflect on my tenure. I regret that despite numerous promises by successive governments to significantly reform or abolish the Barbados secondary schools entrance examinations, or what has easily become a sacred cow, it remains unslaughtered. By extension, I regret that even the best advice from top advisors, including Professor Emeritus Earl Newton and Dr. Anthony Rocky Lane, among others, has never been acted upon. I regret that despite the move by the Caribbean Examinations Council to devise a regional exec examination for primary schools, Barbados is yet to embrace any notion of change in respect of how we move students from primary to secondary level. I regret that we continue to make the mistake of robbing the classroom of its best practitioners by the practice of moving excellent practitioners into management Unfortunately, because of limited promotional opportunities, many good classroom practitioners are forced out of their professional niche. In many instances, the system suffers. I regret that the proposal made to the Ministry of Education some years ago to establish the post of master teacher lies dormant in a file somewhere in the corridor somewhere of central administration on Constitution Road. The idea would see a higher salary level for persons dubbed as a master teacher, thereby encouraging excellent classroom practitioners to remain in a classroom when they are needed the most. I regret that despite some strides in terms of educational provisions for students with special needs, except for the gifted, this group is still largely treated as if they are not as important as other primary age cohorts. I acknowledge the Mount St. Vincent initiative, which saw approximately 75 teachers being trained up to the master's level in what has been referred to as an inclusionary practice, or at other times as special needs education. It is unfortunate that many of these graduates are now deployed in areas where the system can benefit, are not now deployed in areas where the system can benefit from their expert skills and knowledge. The vision of a new dawn for children with special needs has been delayed, but hopefully not lost. I regret that it is still possible for a student to pass through a 12-year educational span and at the end of it find him or herself unable to read. An analysis of the performance of students in the open-ended component of the BSSEE suggests that we have a serious problem in the areas of reading and comprehension. For me, it raises a number of searching questions as to what is happening at the lower levels of the primary school, where early and prerequisite literacy are to be established. Are our best teachers being deployed to teach reading and comprehension in Infants A, Infants B, and Class 1 in our primary schools? Are we sacrificing the need to teach early literacy as we focus on Class 3 and 4 in preparation for the BSSEE? It is my firm contention that in many of our primary schools, we need to look carefully at what is happening in teaching of early numeracy and literacy skills. I regret that we are allowing foreign ideas of discipline and child-rearing practices to influence how we do school at the risk of rendering our schools unmanageable. I regret that even though we have embraced technology integration principles in many of our classrooms, both at primary and secondary levels, appear as much as they did 30 years ago. It is analogous to transporting the latest computer on a donkey cart on a 4-lane highway. I still await the construction of the 2 new secondary schools that were to be built long before the recession showed. I think Blake, he saw the future at some point in time, right? I regret that the residential institution to meet the needs of those maladjusted and disrupted students who cannot function in a mainstream school is yet to be implemented. Finally, in terms of my last attachment in local education in my capacity as principal of the Graydon Sealy Secondary School, formerly the Garrison Secondary, I painfully regret that the vision for continuing education to the Garrison Evening Academy has not been sustained. Whatever the reasons having been tendered for this are irrelevant. In the face of a clear need among constituents in the Prime Minister's constituency and the environs to obtain additional opportunities and training, what a tragedy. But overall, and despite these regrets, I fully appreciate the chance God gave me, and I wish them well.
Thank you.